leading this Florida offense.
It is Go Red for Women's Cardiovascular Health Night tonight in Norman, and only the third time that Oklahoma wears the crimson uniforms at home since 2013. Reagan Beers jumps it for Oklahoma, and Miara O'Neal will jump for the Gators. Referees Tiffany Bird, Timothy Daly, and Demoya Pugh, and Oklahoma has the first look against a man-to-man defense for the Gators. Patient possession into the All-American Reagan Beers, who muscles her way in for two, and a foul against Katarina Piatti.
That's a terrific half-court possession for Oklahoma. And that's a pretty smart play to get touches to Reagan Beers. Leads the SEC in field goal percentage. It's really important tonight that Jenny Baranczyk touched base with us earlier. Beers has got to stay out of foul trouble and be cognizant of how the game is being called early. Make those adjustments, because obviously the importance at both ends of the floor of her being available is huge.
Gators with their first look, averaging 74 points per game, middle of the pack in the SEC. McGill lobs it up to O'Neal, who's triple teamed. Versatility from Piatti, but she traveled with it. Putting it on the deck, she's capable of it, but that was maybe a little bit out of her comfort zone.
Now, really, really good young group for Florida. That, honestly, you talked about it in the open, Chad, how you have to be mentally tough and fight through it. How about them bouncing back after that tough week of games? Played well, getting 2 home wins. Certainly coming in here with some confidence.
Sooners only one of 9 teams in the country to use the same 5 starters for every game, and Sahara Williams having a career year. It continues. There's McGill. Aggressive drive, draws a foul. Verhulst trying to slide over, draws her first personal. Another thing Jenny Baranczyk talked about with us, her team's got to defend without fouling. Well, Liv McGill will certainly test that.
Well, McGill and Reynolds especially. Reynolds in a different way, but terrific at creating contact. Those are 2 in particular you got to keep off the line.
Inbound turnover as it bounds to Zaya Van. Pull up and pop, drops. 6-0 Sooner start. Lineup for the Gators, of course, McGill is in there. Miara O'Neal has played very well recently, knocking down shots. Piatti as well, such a versatile freshman, and the Gators get on the board. But the Sooners will respond quickly. Williams.
Yeah, that's 2 straight possessions that McGill's been able to get downhill.
Into Beers. 2 trips inside, 2 buckets for the Sooners.
What Oklahoma wants to do a better job of tonight is ball reversal, swinging it from side to side, as McGill able to knock that one down right there, Chad. But as much as teams concentrate on Beers inside, you have to move it to get her touches.
Offensive foul. That was off the ball underneath, and it was called by Timothy Daly. It's against Reagan Beers, and Jenny Baranczyk having a little conversation with her star center.
Well, right there, Beers was isolated and just needed to body up with her hips right there. Had the defender on her backside, but pushed off with her arm. Those are the type of fouls and turnovers that you certainly want to stay away from if you're Oklahoma.
Difficult to officiate Reagan Beers because of her size and strength inside. Here comes Williams. And that kicked out of bounds by Ezekiel. Gift Ezekiel, the junior, mentioned such a youthful lineup, and Kelly Ray Finley talked to us. She said, hey, if you're going to build it the way that we want to build it, you're going to have to start with a lot of youth and just suffer through some growing pains.
Well, McGill, O'Neal, Reynolds in particular, because those are your 3 offensive horses. A couple sophomores and a junior out there. You know, Oklahoma as well, Chad, young in some spots as well. You see Kelly Ray Finley right there, doing a really good job keeping this team together after going through that tough schedule stretch.
Reynolds steals the inbound and glides the other way, but missed it, and that ball goes off of Ezekiel. It'll be Oklahoma basketball. Oklahoma substituting here pretty early. They go with Brooklyn Stewart and Keziah Lofton, and Jenny Baranczyk also talked to us about wanting to play some of her younger players at the bench.
Yeah, there's some pressure right there from Florida. Missed the bunny, but I think you'll see more and more of that. Oklahoma has had a hard time taking care of it, particularly over the last couple of games. 22 turnovers in each of their losses at Vanderbilt and at Texas.
I think that went up and bounced off Ezekiel's head and went out of bounds. It'll be Oklahoma basketball, and Ezekiel's trying to clear out the cobwebs. Whipped cross court. She got in the way of that. Third turnover against the Gators here in the early going. Sooners have committed 2 giveaways. Peyton Verhulst on the uptick lately. She's averaging 16 points a game in her last 6 and shooting better than 40% from three-point land.
You know, so important to have her out there just because of all these smart decisions and plays that she makes.
There is Verhulst with a tough fall away. Brooklyn Stewart picks up the rebound. Great extra pass. Williams 3, no. And that one saved down on the baseline by Jade Weathersby. She threw it away, and Williams can't convert. Oklahoma 3 looks, no buckets. McGill had to reach out and grab that one. She's guarded by Williams, and Oklahoma, it's going to be a team effort defensively. That one splashed home. We saw Jade Weathersby knocking him down from the corner like that in shoot around today.
Yeah, it's interesting. The last 4 or 3 games, she's scored 4 points combined. But if you followed her, she is really good on the road and has played great in some tough spots throughout the SEC. So that's a good start once again on the road for her, knocking down that 3.
Verhulst misses a couple of fairly open looks. McGill stopped and then passed inside to Ezekiel, kind of baited the defense, and it's taken away by Keziah Lofton. She goes end to end and has it blocked. Swatted by Reynolds. Lofton back up and in, though.
Well, Lofton, speaking of young players, a freshman that's had a really good year. And what's different about her to me, Chad, is that defensively she's excellent. The offense will come. Typically with young players, it's the opposite, right?
They don't get the defensive side.
Well, she's got that part down.
Late shot clock here. Minduti putting it on the deck and scoring. The mid-range baseline falls.
Now, Florida, I think today, outside of those main 3 scores, they need a 4th Florida player to step up and have a game a little bit beyond offensively what they typically would do.
Officials having to get together, and the far side official, actually, Timothy Daly, says it's going to stay here, that it went off of Florida. Zia Van rolls back in there. Kaya Smith, man, this is a young Oklahoma lineup. In fact, it's 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores out there for Jenny Baranchik's team.
And she talked to us today about the back end of that bench, getting them a little bit more minutes, not only to get them in good position this last month of the regular season, but also someone like Chavez and Verhulst, they are playing such heavy minutes, probably need to get them a little bit more of a rest throughout these games. It's just been such a hard grind as you enter the last third of the conference season.
McGill, count the bucket and a foul. And she'll go to the line, having given her Gators the lead in the early going. 5 minutes in, Florida on top at the Lloyd Noble Center.
Well, McGill can get a shot anytime she wants. Just about anywhere she can get to her spots. Literally can carry an offense on her back, and you see why she can do it right there.
Did not specifically coach Liv McGill, but got to watch Liv McGill in camp with all of the participants of Team USA, and she said really stood out, in particular leadership skills, and that has been evident with this Florida team. She has helped lessen the learning curve for a lot of her fellow youngsters on this roster.
Yeah, and as you watch her tonight, watch her pace, changing speeds, how she changes directions, and when she drives it, her eyes are up, and with her ability, that allows her to make the right play.
Oklahoma end-to-end quickly, but Lofton's shot was partially blocked by O'Neal. Minduti transitions, but a turnover. Zia Van back in for Oklahoma now, and Chavez is as well. Aaliyah Chavez trying to dump it up top to Brooklyn Stewart. Knocked away, though. Tough angle there as O'Neal takes it.
Yeah, you want to look in there if you're Oklahoma. But a very good defensive play by O'Neal to shove Stewart underneath the basket.
And McGill counters with the deuce. 4-point lead for Florida. So McGill, the three-point play. And another bucket. Gators have made their last 3. Oklahoma just 1 of its last 11 from the field. Aaliyah Chavez has only taken 1 shot so far. Shot clock is at 7. Van got a good rub screen there from Lofton to get to the bucket, but couldn't complete it. Boy, O'Neal's a good rebounder. Piatti runs the floor. McGill over the taller Stewart, but it rimmed out. Chavez angles left, and that one pops out.
Yeah, Oklahoma's had multiple bunnies here early that they haven't converted.
Gators got end-to-end and a travel as Menduti stopped but found herself right underneath the rim with no place to go. 7-0 run here for Florida.
See what Oklahoma can come up here, Chad, in the half court offensively. You got Chavez off the ball on that right wing. Florida's done a pretty good job once they've gotten Oklahoma in the half court set defensively, keeping everything in front.
Reagan Beers tries a 3. In and out, no. McGill rebounds, tried to push it, but that was tipped by Keziah Lofton. Chavez triggers. And Lofton tracks down the miss. Nice pass by Beers. Zaya Van, a 3, and she strokes it down.
Well, that should give Zaya Van a little bit of confidence. Been a little bit inconsistent on the offensive end as of late. Got a bucket at the rim earlier, at least a mid-range jumper in transition. Gets that one to go down, and that will certainly give her some confidence.
Reynolds had it knocked away. Beers crashes, but is able to save it. Chavez, stop and pop 3, no. Beers rebounds the miss. And a turnover. That got tipped by Jade Weathersby.
Well, you can see both these coaches right now, frowns on their faces. Both teams a little careless with the basketball at times here early.
12 combined turnovers. Florida's turned it over 8 times here in this opening period. And that might be number 2 on Reagan Beers. Put her in a tough spot, having to defend way out on the floor. And so Beers picks up her second with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, let's take a look right here. Just the handoff comes up to help, and well, that's going to be tough for just about anyone, especially Beers, because of the quickness. You see right there what I mean? McGill catches it, freezes for a moment, and then just can explode with such ease, drawing that contact.
Flashing free, but missing in there is DeZecco, but it works out as Ezekiel is there to pick it up and put it in. That was a gift for Gift.
Well, these are the type of plays Florida will have to continue to make tonight. This is great multiple effort possession. There's Ezekiel right there. There's some contact. Able to finish it right here. And we talked about this Florida team. Do not let the 3-8 conference record fool you. I mean, you got to keep it in perspective. There's context to it. I mean, they're a team that continues to get better and better, and they have fought through some tough stretches of their conference slate.
No team in the history of women's college basketball has had to play a stretch as they did. 3 top 6 teams in a span of 7 days. I mean, that's like NCAA tournament stuff in the middle of conference play, what they endured. Oklahoma continues to try to work it inside. That foul's on Piatti. Beg your pardon, they get that on Reynolds, her first. Quick inbound, Williams. Missed from close range. And that's headed the other way. They say that Williams touched it last. Sooners just 1 of their last 9 from the field. Hard drive, and McGill attacks and scores 2 more.
I mean, just the blow by right there, and goes right by Zia Van, who is a very good on-ball defender.
That's 9 first-quarter points for McGill.
Yeah, watch this right here. I've got a feeling we're going to be showing a lot of her replays, and I see that right there. And her ability to go either way, equally as well, on display right there. Your closeouts, Chad, on McGill, a player of that caliber, they've got to really be straight up. You got to close out straight up, protect the drive first, but easier said than done.
And you mentioned her change of direction, as good as anyone in the country. Peyton Verhulst could not shake free, and she has committed her second foul. Called for using that free arm to try to get herself some space. So Jenny Baranchek Sooners, 2 fouls on Verhulst and 2 on Beers.
Yeah, you see right here, no doubter, Verhulst extends that arm. And Reynolds doing a good job of trying to keep in front. Oklahoma's in the half court, they're going to have to be more patient. Swing it side to side, not try to get everything off the first or second pass.
Godfrey lines up a 3 that's strong. And there's Beatrice Culleton with a rebound for the Sooners.
And Jenny Baranchek talked about getting Culleton more minutes, maybe a bigger role in the rotation. She's certainly getting it here in the first half, with Beers picking up 2 fouls.
She missed some time with a thumb fracture. Oklahoma having trouble with post-entry passes. That's about 3 turnovers trying to get it inside. Nicely saved over there by Godfrey. Both teams just a little bit tentative, I would say, on the offensive end. A little free with the basketball. 5 to shoot. This is who you want to have it if you're Florida. But McGill gives it up, and the Gators turn it over. Lofton ahead of the pack. Verhulst found her, and the Sooners close within 4. A heave from half court at the horn falls short. Well, Oklahoma not shooting it well. Liv McGill putting on a show with 11 in the first quarter. She's got the Gators on top at the end of the first 10 at the Lloyd Noble Center. Reagan Beers, foul trouble. Sooners need more of that, but she'll have to sit for some time with their team down 4 headed to the second.
The other 2 things are when Florida has gotten Oklahoma in the half court, outside of the first couple possessions, it's been really sound and solid. They made Oklahoma into a jump shooting team. And then most importantly, they have Liv McGill. So that's who had
that was a simple answer to a lengthy question, right?
I was just filling time there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we had a little time.
But no, I mean, Florida's, they take care of the basketball. I mean, they're in a much better shape.
Oklahoma's now got the rangy Keziah Lofton on McGill defensively. Kaya Smith knocks that one out. And that's one thing, this Oklahoma young group, they are long and they are rangy on the defensive end. It shows up. And
that was an initiative in the offseason to add more length on the perimeter. You know, Lofton was one of those. Obviously, Brooklyn Stewart at 6'3", an interior player.
O'Neal double teamed, had to force that one up. And there's Williams with the Oklahoma rebound. Verhulst plays on with 2 fouls here in this second quarter. Jenny Baranchek certainly trusts her. And it goes to Culleton. I don't know how she got that up. There was about 3 players surrounding her.
Boy, great job right there. You know, Culleton hasn't played a lot as of late, but what she does have is experience in this program. It's a very important basket from her right there for Oklahoma.
Back cut here, Piatti, nice feed to O'Neal, but she couldn't finish. Williams into Culleton, who's fouled from behind, and they'll get that one on Miara O'Neal.
Yeah, and I love it. You saw it when Culleton came in for Beers during the second quarter, trying to get her the ball inside. Just because Beers is out doesn't mean you can't attack the interior. Oklahoma, a much better job coming out this third quarter and finding Culleton a couple times.
Culleton been wearing a cast on that fracture in her right hand. It's more of a soft cast these days. Verhulst pulls the trigger, but short, and into the lap of Piatti. But the Gators turn it over. That's 10 turnovers against Florida. You know, they average about 17 per game. There you see what we're talking about with Culleton. Can't be easy to play with that thing, but better than the cast that she had been wearing. Miscommunication here, but it works out as Lofton winds up with it. Puts it right back up and in, padding the rebounding stats.
Yeah, another careless attempt in terms of passing the basketball for Oklahoma. But how about Lofton, the freshman, right there? Heads up play. Good finish inside.
Lofton's got 6 off the bench for the Sooners with Beers in foul trouble. And trying to walk the tightrope down there on the baseline unsuccessfully. 11 Florida turnovers.
And the key there was not allowing McGill to ever completely turn the corner. Good job of continuing to try to keep in front. And right there, she ran out of real estate.
Another thing about McGill, in addition to all of the fantastic stats, she leads the SEC in minutes played. Now, she never looks tired, but at some point, she may need a breather. Here comes Reynolds as Oklahoma gives it away for the 7th time. 18 combined turnovers. Chavez and McGill head to head. McGill launches a 3 with Culleton flying at her, buries it.
Yeah, that's tough right there. Culleton, you have to protect the drive first. Obviously, that's a major advantage for McGill. The problem was getting switched in that situation and not getting switched back when the ball was moved to the corner. That allowed Florida, you see right there, go for the right corner, couple passes up to McGill, and she's true from 3.
3-point shot hasn't been great. When it becomes great, and it will, given McGill's work ethic, the word is unguardable. And she's pretty unguardable now. She lobs it up top. Easy lay-in on the backside for Reynolds.
Nice job of McGill, just letting the play develop, letting the defense dictate the decision out front.
Gators back up 5. Chavez couldn't get free. And a whistle inside. Culleton in a wrestling match is going to pick up an offensive foul. And taking the bump is Ezekiel. And that's 2 on Beatrice Culleton.
Well, here it is. Here's that last. See, waiting to see what decision Chavez makes as a defender. She decides to protect the basket, times it right for the lob, and then right there. That's a lot like Beers when she picked up her first foul, Chad, in the first quarter, trying to post with your arms. You got to use that lower body to get that defender held off.
And they may go look at this for that contact above the neck. Kind of have to do that these days. So indeed they will. Tiffany Bird, Timothy Daly, Demoria Pugh will look at that foul against Beatrice Culleton. Oklahoma's got to go with a really youthful lineup.
The call is a common foul. The play will be reviewed for a potential upgrade.
So they review for potential upgrade. And we'll have a decision when we return to the Lloyd Noble Center.
One. I mean, she's just trying to get position. I don't think she's trying to hurt the defender right there. Here we go.
So it's being explained by Tiffany Bird to the scorer's table, and hopefully we will get the in-house announcement. One way or the other, it is number 2 on Beatrice Culleton, adding to the list. Verholst and Beers also have 2. And I think they're going to call Kelly Ray Finley and Jenny Baranchek together for the adjudication. And Timothy Daly will let Brendan know. And Brendan, I believe that your guess was right on the money. 1 for 1 on the night.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, on these, you would think I would be better. But yeah, that was a pretty
After review,
easy one.
the common foul on the floor has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul for unnecessary contact to the face. 2 free throws to White, and then they will inbound the ball at midcourt.
Yeah, you know, obviously the fans here don't like it, but by rule, I mean, that was, I think, pretty easy.
It's a challenge.
And
you know, honestly, sometimes it's the physics of things as McGill lines up the free throws. That's the other thing, is you get to put McGill at the foul line here. And she's a 75% foul shooter, but it's the physics. You know, Culleton is about 2 to 3 inches taller. So when she reaches her arm up, if it just goes straight out against a shorter defender, then the arm is going to be at about the neck and face area.
You're right. So
it's tough.
If there was something more malicious or had more intent to it, that's when it becomes a flagrant 2.
Right.
What the rule is designed to do is protect players. You have a hand, a forearm, an elbow go to a player's neck or face, you know, with some assertion. Like on that play right there, I mean, you're going to probably get that flagrant one call. That was a good job by this officiating crew.
McGill, tough angle there, snuck that against a good defender in Williams.
Yeah, right there, not poorly defended. You would take cutting off McGill her path to the basket just about any time, but she's going to make some tough shots.
Largest lead for either team is 8 for Florida. Brooklyn Stewart, an air ball right into the hip pocket of Weathersby on the rebound. This is an 8-0 run for Florida. Factor in the upgraded foul. McGill in and out. Weathersby back up and in. 10-point lead for Florida on the road, and Oklahoma takes a timeout.
Boy, Weathersby, she left beyond the three-point line when McGill launched it from the top of the key. Followed the flight of the ball right there for that putback. Here's that play. Now, Weathersby, as we talked about, really had very good games on the road. Right there, leaves more than her area. Comes in from about 22 feet. Now, here's the one before. I mean, that's just a tough shot right there. Williams did a pretty good job for Oklahoma. See, good drop step. Doesn't allow her to completely turn the corner, but that's just an elite offensive player making a tough shot.
So McGill continues an excellent first half. She's got 17 in the first half of this game. And Oklahoma has 19 as a team. You look at Jade Weathersby, the transfer from UAB, 11 career double-doubles. She was second-team All-American. That's the American Conference last season at UAB. So where's Oklahoma going? Chavez is out there. Remember, Beers and Verhulst on the bench with 2 fouls. And Chavez triggers no. That's stolen by Brooklyn Stewart. Only thing Florida's done wrong is turn it over 12 times, but Oklahoma has now given it away 9 times.
I mean, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, the turnovers are killing Florida. The difference is when Florida hasn't turned it over, they've been getting much better looks offensively.
Weathersby lines up a 3 that's good. Her 11th made 3 of the season, 13-point Gator lead. And this is a 13-0 run. Stewart, a pretty decent look that doesn't fall. Williams powers that one up and in. Oklahoma had to have that one.
Boy, it seems like each team just returns the favor on these turnovers. There's one just about happened again.
They call a hold there on Williams as the Gators were trying to execute the screen and roll with Ezekiel.
Let's take a look right here. Obviously, Jenny Peronchek not happy with that one right there.
That's the first on Williams. And it is team foul number 2 against Oklahoma. Weathersby nearly lost it. 10 to shoot now. McGill will. And Verhulst secures the Oklahoma rebound.
Yeah, great job right there by Verhulst, continuing to seal out on that rebound.
Chavez angles in on McGill and earns 2 free throws.
Well, Chavez has not been able to get going offensively. You know, in one sense, I like that she hasn't forced it yet. Obviously, with her scoring ability, they come in bunches. But if you watch her throughout the season, You know, her best games, or at least her most efficient games to me, are when she's been able to get to the foul line and not just settling for the three-point shot. And, you know, there's no exact number you can put on it because you have to take what the game gives you, right, offensively. But there's usually a better balance between how many threes she's taken versus how many overall shots she takes, which usually lends to her getting to the foul line more. So we'll see if that possession right there gets her going offensively.
Leads the SEC in free throw shooting at 90%. And look at Reynolds twisting from underneath the goal for two. Chavez triggers, and that one's strong. Rebound, Keziah Lofton just kind of plucked that from over the top of McGill. And so 2 free throws for maybe the player that's played the best for Oklahoma tonight, and that's Keziah Lofton.
Yeah, she really has played well, and I think you're going to see, and she plays and she's part of the rotation, but I think you're going to see her over the final 6 games of the regular season, her minutes go up just a little bit. I mean, she's so good defensively and versatile there for Oklahoma, but just needs a little bit of confidence on that offensive end because there's tremendous upside with this freshman.
That one rimmed out, 1 of 2 for Lofton. Into the game for Florida is Ndyang Yitch for the first time tonight. She is from Alberta, Canada. Another one of those freshmen. Piatti gives McGill a screen. Here's Yitch trying to step through Stewart, and Stewart called for the foul. Jenny Baranczyk wanting the travel. We'll get a second look, but Yitch is going to shoot a pair.
Yeah, so does she travel before the foul? Well, there's one. That first one didn't get called right there, so it was the second bump after the travel. So I don't know. What was the right call then?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
You know what I'm
saying?
One. Because there was contact up front on the first one that didn't get called.
Yeah, was there a foul that forced a potential travel? 1 of 2 there. Split decision, just like the free throws. How about that? Zion Van back in. These are some important minutes now for both teams. Can Florida expand? Can Oklahoma, with foul trouble and a youthful lineup, get closer? Stewart posting. And Piatti, nice. I think, is going to be called for that.
Yeah, you'll get Piatti right there. When you have that kind of size, you want to go from the floor to the ceiling, straight up, and watch the right arm come down right there. Great job of Stewart having patience inside, continuing to establish that pivot foot and create the contact.
That's 2 on Piatti, and it looks like O'Neal is going to return for her. Brooklyn Stewart to the foul line, just been very consistent, and the trend has been constantly upward. You were talking about what you've seen from her in more hostile environments in road games.
Yeah, I think that's what is really impressive to me. She's played well on the road. You just go back 1 game ago, she has 13 and 5. 2 games ago in Austin, 7 points, 9 boards. I think 5 of those were on the offensive end. And most of your freshmen and sometimes sophomore, your underclassmen, they're up and down, particularly on the offensive end. But Stewart, her trajectory is continuing to rise. That, you don't want to survive with Beers on the bench. You'd like to play the 2 together. But that's one thing that's helped Oklahoma be able to survive some stretches when Beers is in foul trouble, because Stewart continues to get better and better. And I'll throw something else in. She also gives a different look, right? Defensive is in the SEC, which she's in there at the 5.
That is 14 Florida turnovers on the road, yet they lead by 10. Verhulst swings in and misses. Gators want to try to attack with Reynolds. 3:20 to play in the first half. Florida has led just about the entirety of this first half. Reynolds flashes free and travels with it.
Good job of Zia Van right there. An excellent flash from Reynolds, but Van right there on the catch, kept in front.
Here's Verhulst having to play with 2 fouls. Feels like Oklahoma needs her to get a little more involved. 10 to shoot now. Zia Van angles in on Yitch, has to pull it up off the mark. Verhulst comes out of the pack with it. But an Oklahoma turnover. Here comes McGill. McGill guarded by Lofton. Oh, beautiful hesitation to get the left-handed shot up. Chavez rakes away the board. Chavez trying to draw contact, falls as it misses, and the rebound to Yitch.
There's quite a bit of contact right there. I like Chavez not pulling up from 3 in that situation. I like the fact she was able to get the ball deep in the lane, probably created the right amount of contact. She's got to continue to do that right there. Continue to look for opportunities to get downhill.
Sorry, Brendan, that was a 10-second count against Florida. They're trying to control the pace a little bit. When's the last time you saw a 10-second count? Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a pop quiz, testing your memory.
You know what's crazy is I literally was going to try to think for a moment, Chad. Try to help you out.
Well, that's the only thing that's gone wrong in this half. 16 turnovers for Kelly Rae Finley's
that's
team.
a better turnover than some of the live ball turnovers that these teams have had.
There's Verhulst trying to go to work, but no room to get anywhere against Minduti. So they'll post Verhulst. She attacks and goes to the free throw line.
Yeah, nice right there. You mentioned Verhulst and Jenny Baranczyk having confidence in the veteran to play with those 2 fouls. Good position right there. She has really good size as a perimeter player at 6'1". It's really that player that she has a lot of respect from opposing coaches. She's one of the first names that comes up when we visit with them. Just that type of player that you need on the floor. She rebounds, average 3+ assists a game, starting to shoot it better from 3 here about the last 3 weeks.
And so Verhulst, remember, she's been playing with 2 fouls. Reagan Beers is on the bench with 2 fouls. Beers picked up her second with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. So Reagan Beers has not played here in the second period.
Hey, really important stretch for both teams as you close out the half in terms of momentum.
Gators by 9. McGill's had a huge first half. And she double dribbled that one. 17 Florida turnovers, matching the 17 points McGill has.
Yeah, good call right there. She put that dribble down, and you could tell McGill was thinking about it.
Oklahoma has just been slow offensively. We're talking about a team that nationally averages 88 points per game. That's 4th in the country, and they've given it away again. That's 11 Oklahoma turnovers. 4th nationally, 88 points per game. They've got 26 points with 1:19 to play. And, you know, it feels like at some point Oklahoma will figure it out offensively, and Florida's got to stop turning it over so much. But who knows?
Well, part of that is because in the half court, if you don't have Reagan Beers out there, I mean, because she does so many things. She scores, but she can pass out of the post. She offensive rebounds. There's all kinds of things, even ancillary, that she provides. And when she's out of the game, it makes it more difficult. That's why, you know, if you're playing Oklahoma, who is elite in transition, elite in broken floors, because you have so many players that can lead breaks, I mean, your best chance is to get them in the half court.
O'Neal toes the foul line. That's 2 fouls on Williams now. So Culleton, Beers, Verhulst, and Williams each have 2 for the Sooners with 1:05 to play here in the first half. Loose ball picked up by Kaya Smith. Under a minute to play in the opening half.
Yeah, a little 2-for-1 opportunity right here.
Oklahoma without a field goal in the last 4.5 minutes, and the drought will continue after their 12th turnover. Got about 20 seconds difference here between the shot clock and the game clock. Could get the old WNBA 2-for-1. Reynolds attacks and misses. Smith tries to whip it ahead for Lofton, but the Sooners give it away again.
And this gives Florida a chance, assuming they can take care of the ball right here, Chad. You go into halftime at a minimum up 9.
And they will keep it in the hands of McGill, rightly so. 17 points in the first half. Now 5 seconds to go as O'Neal passes out of the post, and the three no good by Reynolds. It'll stay right here. 0.6 seconds to play. Just time for a tip, perhaps, for the Gators. What do you do? Lob it up to O'Neal if you can?
Yeah, that's enough time just for a tap.
And there it is. Chad. The lob to O'Neal. It's good. I imagine they will check it, but the Gators got exactly what they wanted on the inbound.
You called it right there. What a great underneath out of bounds play right here. Nothing to show for it. They haven't been able to convert. And so, you know, those are the main things in the first half. And the other thing that I would say was Weathersby was terrific off the bench. 8 points, 5 rebounds in 9 minutes, gave them a spark, was a compliment to what McGill was doing offensively. You know, so all of that together, you know, that's what allows Florida the 11-point lead. And if you're being honest, overall, they just were the tougher team. And as you know, that's an important part of winning in this league.
Yeah, things that measure toughness, rebounding. Florida is +1 against the #2 rebounding team in the country in Oklahoma, and they have held the Sooners to just 28% shooting in the first half. All eyes will be on Reagan Beers, the All-American, and the first few minutes of this second half, can she stay out of foul trouble? She picked up her second one with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Did not play the second quarter, but she's not the only one. Peyton Verhulst, Sahara Williams, Beatrice Culleton also have 2 fouls for the Sooners. So here we go. Chavez fires to start. Rebounded by McGill. Well, McGill so good. Assists, steals, and she rebounds very well for her height. McGill attacks Verhulst, and that's going to be #3 on Peyton Verhulst.
Yeah, that was definitely calculated by McGill. They know that Verhulst, Williams, Beers, 3 of the most important Sooners, all have those 2 fouls coming out here in the second half. The thing as a defender, I mean, you cannot relax when she has that hesitation and change of pace. I mean, as soon as you relax, that's when the blow-by comes.
McGill lines up a 3 this time. No. And Verhulst plucks the rebound for the Sooners. You can tell they are all looking in at Reagan Beers, trying to get it to her. Not quite successful. They will call it a hold, though, against Piatti. And Piatti's picked up her 3rd.
Yeah, something simple right there, Chad, to keep in mind. A great place to get Beers the basketball. You know, outside, if you can get in a true high-low situation where you have space and you've taken out the built-in weak side help, entering the ball on the corner, assuming she can get her defender up the floor a little bit.
Peyton Verhulst has the opening deuce of half #2.
And Jenny Baranczyk leaving her in there with those 3 fouls just can ill afford with the way the game has gone so far to not allow her to help Oklahoma get out to a good start the second half.
That was Verhulst's first field goal. Aaliyah Chavez doesn't have a field goal. She has only made 2 free throws. Zaya Van into Williams, tried to put it on the deck and blocked, but surrounded, and a foul call underneath. That one will go against Minduti.
Really like Sahara Williams and her versatility offensively. When you look at Oklahoma and the times throughout this season where they've really been clicking offensively, and this could be in transition or in half court, Williams is usually right in the middle of that because she's got that versatility. She's physical. She competes.
Sahara Williams has gone over 1,000 points for her Sooner career here in this game. Career highs in scoring, rebounding, double-doubles, and assists, but an empty trip there. 37-28. Gators maintain their 9-point cushion. Patiently waiting, but then turning it over. 3-on-1 for the Sooners. Zaya Van pops and drops one. Couple of buckets to start the half for the Sooners, and a timeout taken by Kelly Ray Finley and the Gators. Another turnover for Florida gets Oklahoma back within 7 to start half number 2. Kelly Ray Finley calls the timeout for Florida. These are the SEC standings. Remember, the top 8 will get an opening round bye. The top 4 get the double bye all the way to the quarterfinals when we get to Greenville, South Carolina, March the 4th. Oklahoma and Georgia in a tie for 8th place, essentially. But what a league. According to Charlie Cream's bracketology, 11 SEC teams would be in the big dance, and Oklahoma would be hosting one of 7 SEC teams that would host the opening 2 rounds if the tournament started today, Brendan.
You know, it's amazing. I was, as you and I were talking in preparation for today, I mean, really, we talked about the perspective, being able to battle through stretches where, I mean, you might be playing well in this league and you're still getting beat. And keeping perspective, because there's context to that. Look, you finish 500 in this league, you're a top 20 team. I mean, think about that.
Nice hard drive and bank shot down by Layla Reynolds, the junior. Here's a look at that Charlie Cream bracketology with the 11 teams all the way down, and who knows, there's a path for Florida to get in there. A win tonight would go a long way if they could pull it off. Beers got blocked. O'Neal from over the top.
Boy, good rotation by O'Neal coming to contest right there.
O'Neal, 39 blocks on the year now. Under 10 to shoot here. McGill lines up a 3, way off.
He'll take that right there.
Chavez just threw it away. That's such a tough pass. I mean, Beers is a good athlete, runs the floor well, but that was well out of her reach. And 14 Oklahoma turnovers now. Three minutes in, a slow start both ways. Oklahoma 4-2 here in the third quarter. O'Neal launches one and drills it.
Well, that was smooth right there from O'Neal. It's been playing so great, especially here about the last 3 or 4 games.
Zaya Van answers for the Sooners. She's connected on both of her 3-point tries tonight.
That's a big bucket right there, an answer that Oklahoma certainly needs as Florida playing better coming out of the timeout.
Zaya Van, improved 3-point shooter. She's creeping up on 40% for the year now. Here's McGill attacking Van, leaning in, got her own miss, and got fouled. She's relentless.
Here's the last 2 threes, Chad. There's O'Neal right there in rhythm, been shooting it great. Last 9 games, been 50% plus from long range, and there's Van wide open, takes her time. Like I said, an important answer as Florida had pushed it to 12.
There you see O'Neal. We were asking Kelly Ray Finley about her improved 3-point shooting, and she said it's been reads and working with McGill on some of those actions.
Yeah, she's obviously looked for it more, but she's not forcing it. And Coach Finley also mentioned she felt like McGill and O'Neal are really starting to get in a rhythm on that pick and pop action. One thing McGill, if you watch her, what she does a terrific job of, she waits for that screen to get set. She doesn't go early. Too many guards out front. I mean, they leave too early, nothing gets established, you know, and sometimes you can put that screener into a situation where they have an offensive foul. McGill has such patience to allow that to get set so that she can utilize it better.
19 for McGill. not only the 19 points, she's got 5 boards and 3 assists, one of 2 players nationally to average 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. She's on her way to that again tonight. Beers gives Chavez a little rub. Nice handoff inside, and Beers completes the play.
Well, I love it right there. That's Chavez playmaking. Goes by 2 defenders. Nice little play right there, dump to Beers.
Reynolds angles around Williams, and a foul. And that's going to be 3 on Williams.
Tell you what, there's been some answers. This is really good. Hesitate, blow by, draw the help. Beers does a good job of vacating to an open spot in a short window, and this is nice right here. I mean, that's just a strong move. Williams, obviously a physical defender, and Reynolds continues to play well.
Indeed, 8 points for Reynolds to try to improve upon that. As you said, averaging nearly 45% from three-point range in conference play. O'Neal offensive rebounds, and a reset here for Florida. Foul trouble for Oklahoma. Williams and Verhulst each with 3. Williams stays on the floor, and it doesn't matter as that one's dropped down by DeZecco.
We talked about going down the back part of the rotation for Florida, stepping up and making some offensive plays today.
Beers gets free and lays that one up and in. It's an 11-point game.
Well, right now you could play Stewart and Beers together because Beers just has those 2 fouls.
Oklahoma wanting to push off the miss. Zaya Van likes the look. Chavez bats it into Stewart for 2. Playmaking in the air off the rebound.
Well, you know, if Oklahoma is going to come back and win this game here tonight, Chavez has to go make plays, and it does not have to be scoring. You've seen her set up teammates a couple of recent possessions.
Like McGill maybe dribbled that off the back of her foot. Still plenty of time here for the Gators, though, especially when McGill's out there, but Van poked it away, and it's out of bounds off McGill. Great effort by Zaya Van.
What Jenny Baranczyk said today, when Oklahoma's at their best defensively, it was when Zaya Van is locked in. Great job keeping McGill in front right there. Here's Oklahoma's last basket. Van misses. How about that touch pass from Chavez? Oklahoma's got a little life right now. Back in Norman, what's Zaya Van for Oklahoma right here? See the length, playing McGill straight up. You're talking about maybe the best playmaker in the league right here. Look at those long arms. Forces a turnover. You can see Oklahoma's bench fired up. But that's what Jenny Baranczyk was talking with us today about. When Van defensively is locked in. And sometimes it's just being sound, right? And using your skill set, your measurables, if you will, with those long arms, keeping in front. Sometimes the young sophomore can maybe gamble too much, but when she picks her spots, she's elite defensively.
And that's been more the norm for Oklahoma much of the year. They are 5th nationally in field goal percentage defense. They've been a very good defensive team for the large part of this 2025-26 season. Turnovers have been limited both ways to start the 3rd quarter. Florida only 2, Oklahoma 1 since halftime. Chavez off a Beers screen, rips it.
I like it when Oklahoma runs some offense and has Chavez off the ball and she comes up the floor, Chad. I think that gives her more space for that spot up 3.
Gators were once up 13. That's been whittled down to 6. 10 to shoot here for Liv McGill and the Gators. Indecision from Reynolds and a steal by Van. She'll fire the other way. It's good. And Oklahoma's rolled back within 3. 10-0 Sooner run. Where do the Gators get an answer? McGill, of course.
That's a great player, understanding the importance of a basket right there.
Zia Van. Boy, Beers just cleared her a path to swing all the way to the rim.
And what sets that up is Van has knocked down a couple trays today, but she's best going downhill.
McGill missed a chippy there. And Van is in full attack mode, but a little over-aggressive. Called for the travel.
Let's go back a couple possessions ago, Chad. You had a couple threes from Oklahoma. You don't see it, but that's away from the ball. Chavez makes an adjustment, does a great job using that screen to continue to fend off the defender. And then here's Van. Defense once again, little pull up in transition.
15 points for Zia Van tonight. She leads the Sooners. Chavez to the sprinting Stewart. She leaves it for Keziah Lofton, and McGill ties her up. Possession arrow heads to the Gators.
You know, Oklahoma obviously much better this half offensively. You know, taking care of the ball better ball movement, better body movement in the half court. But I'll go back to a couple of those assists from Chavez. I really think that got this Oklahoma team going when she was able to play make without scoring.
Zeko out to McGill, who's off the mark. Boy, Stewart is tough to shoot over from out top. Van to Stewart. Pinned McGill on the baseline and scored to get the Sooners within one. A 14-2 run for Oklahoma. But the answer comes from Weathersby, who's had a good night.
Well, I tell you what, these little mini runs that these teams go on here in the second half, they have responded with an answer bucket.
Beers will go to the free throw line. And that is not a tough catch that she made first off.
Now look at this, Chad, right here. You see Stewart rim running, gets position on McGill, has a size advantage, does a great job of using her body to seal, and that's a great time to get it into the post when you push it in transition. Advance it up the sideline, enter it directly in the post because you have isolation in there with Stewart.
Substitutions here as Williams is back in for Oklahoma with 3 fouls. Remember, Piatti has 3 for the Gators, and Verhulst and Williams have 3 for the Sooners. Beers is off the mark. Struggling a little bit lately from the free throw line is Reagan Beers. Only 63% for the year as a whole. 1 of 2. She's got 9 points on the night. And Oklahoma back within 3.
Yeah, I mentioned those plays from Chavez early in terms of setting up teammates as Beers going to probably get a rest to close out this third quarter. What it's also what happened here is Stewart and Beers have been able to play together.
Verhulst tipped that ball. Reynolds got it. And the feed to O'Neal for 2 and a foul.
I tell you what, we talk so much about McGill, and rightly so, but O'Neal and Reynolds are really good young players as well. Reynolds just is such a great piece because she plays with toughness. And O'Neal, as she continues to come on offensively. And this Florida team is not, I don't think, somebody you really want to play here this last stretch in February and as you get to March. They're just getting better and better.
There's some talent on this floor. We're talking about between these two teams, as we've got a whistle and a lane violation against Florida. So had it gone, it wouldn't have counted. There are 7 former McDonald's High School All-Americans in this game. 4 for Oklahoma in Williams, Verhulst, Beers, and Chavez, and 3 for Florida, McGill, O'Neal, and Reynolds. So that's like a third of the players.
So in other words, they've been good for a long time.
They have. Minute to go. Into the hands of Chavez. Loops it inside. An easy deuce for Verhulst.
Love it. I'm telling you, if Chavez can learn to do that more consistently, you see how active she was out front, eyes up, great backdoor cut, throws a dime for the layup.
Back to a three-point game. McGill charges inside, then draws a foul against somebody.
Watch this right here. Well, that's great vision. Nice job of Verhulst, who really plays well away from the basketball, cutting right there. And that's Chavez's 4th assist here tonight.
Still waiting to see who that foul was pegged against, as they go signal that on the far side of the floor away from our broadcast table. At any rate, Reagan Beers is going to check in for the final 37 seconds here, and McGill will go back to the line.
There's McGill going around the corner. Did they get Stewart there?
They did, and that's her 4th. Significant foul trouble for the Sooners.
You look at great players, Chad, lead guards. Like, McGill is a good decision maker. I mean, she moves the ball, obviously can score, but she knows and feels the momentum shifting, right? And we've seen her do that multiple times here the second half as Oklahoma is playing better. She's found a way to get downhill. How many players would settle for a jump shot? You know, long-range 3 or mid-range jumper. She knows to get to the rim and subside that momentum that Oklahoma's starting to capture.
8 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock as shot clock trickles down to 10. Chavez inside to Williams, caught under the bucket and somehow angled it in. Gators will try to get one away. 5 seconds. They've got time. DeZecco pulls up and fires. Off the mark. We got a good 4th quarter in store. Florida once led by 13. Oklahoma has chipped it down to 3. Headed to the 4th. Aaliyah Chavez playmaking for the Sooners, Brendan. And the Sooners are back to life here in the 3rd. Zaya Van leading the way. Gators have had the answer so far tonight, but they got 10 minutes to try to pull off a top 10 road win in Norman tonight.
The ball inside. Chavez has 5 assists for the game. They've all came in that 3rd quarter. Another thing is defensively, I mean, McGill is going to score. We talked about her 17 points in the first half. That was just on 12 shots. Oklahoma has held her to 1 of 7 from the floor here in the second half so far. Now, McGill still has been able to get to the foul line, but they've done a much better job, led by Zaya Van, on just making things a little tougher on McGill here the second half.
We will see if Florida can get their first ranked win of the season, and Oklahoma trying for 19 in a row against unranked conference foes. Keeping an eye on the foul trouble both ways. Oklahoma turns it over. Beers, tough angle again, trying to get it into Sahara Williams. That's Oklahoma's 17th turnover.
Well, you know, in terms of Florida, I think if you told Kelly Ray Finley that it's going to be a 1-possession game where you have shown a lot of toughness and grit here on the road heading into the 4th, they certainly would have taken it. Now they've got to do all the things here in this final period to close it out.
McGill, how did she see that pass to DeZecco? And on the baseline, DeZecco runs into Chavez, and the foul is on the Sooner freshman. That's the first on Chavez. McGill calls out the play. Can really orchestrate with the lead and the ball in her hands. Weathersby's had a good night. Doesn't continue with that one. Does have 11 points and 6 rebounds off the bench, though. Williams catch and shoot foul line, in and out. This matchup here, McGill and Van, has been one to watch in this second half. McGill steps through and scoots to the bucket.
She is so patient. You see what I mean? She lets the screens get set, basically rejects it right there.
25 for McGill. Sooners come right back and answer. They will hit you quickly out of a made bucket. This time it's O'Neal off the feed by McGill.
Yeah, nice and smooth right there. That's the pick and pop rhythm improvement that those two have developed, especially over the last couple of weeks.
A tough catch again for Beers. Chavez 3, and that's good. McGill races to the bucket for 2 more. She's got 27. Chavez tries to answer unsuccessfully. Rebounds her own miss, and 2 free throws coming for Chavez.
And here's the 3 from Chavez. What a great job. You see her rotate over to Beers. That gives Beers line of sight of Chavez. And that's just like a interior post touch inside out. Chavez squared up naturally and able to knock down that 3 in rhythm.
Conferring about something, Brendan. I don't know what that would be. Maybe who the foul was against on that follow shot. At any rate, the top foul shooter in the SEC, Aaliyah Chavez, will toe the line for a pair. 8 points tonight, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists for the 6th time SEC Freshman of the Week. 18.3 points per game. That is tops amongst true freshmen nationally. She's almost automatic in this spot.
And this is feeling like a game to me, which in this league, you have so many good ball clubs, so many premier individual players. I mean, you're coming down the stretch here, Chad, a 1-possession game. Which guard group is going to play the best? Which guard group is going to make the most good decisions?
McGill just kind of probing that Oklahoma defense. Yitch missed the 3, rebounded by Piatti, and the reset to McGill. Didn't use the screen. McGill missed it. One-armed rebound, Reynolds. Blocked by Verhulst. Plenty of time to shoot. McGill slashes and misses. And here come the Sooners. Williams surrounded and fouled on the floor. That'll be team foul number 2. Sooners will inbound it.
Yeah, McGill trying to get downhill. Good job. That's a freshman Lofton, not allowing her to completely turn the corner. Boy, Florida really pounded the glass right there, but they come up empty.
Chavez strong with that one, and it's out of bounds off of Williams. That quick underneath out of bounds play got them the look that they wanted. It's a 2-point game now. Remember, Florida once led by 13. Oklahoma's largest lead was 6, way back in the first half.
Well, you can feel the game right now, Chad. As long as these teams don't turn it over, the pace of it just pulls way back, because as you go down the stretch here, every possession is so magnified right now.
Yitch puts it on the deck. She'll shoot a pair. Chavez called for personal foul number 2.
Yitch, nice job right there. Face up. Utilizes a little bit of a size advantage over Chavez. So Yitz gave them excellent minutes in the win over Arkansas.
Canadian junior national team member out of Alberta. Was a little bigger part of things scoring-wise in the non-conference, but has had her spots, as you said, once they've gotten into league play. And just a freshman, part of that super talented class. 7 different countries represented on this Florida roster, in addition to all of the freshmen. Beers at that high post. Dumped down for Verhulst, who reverses it in with a foul call against Reynolds. Verhulst can tie it if she converts the old-fashioned three-point play.
Well, nice job by Oklahoma. So you have Beers at the high post, which Oklahoma has done a lot more this year, moved her around in the half court offensively. Here you go. No handoff, but faces up, and Verhulst just continues to post hard in there. Beers is a very good passer.
6 minutes to go. We are all tied at the Lloyd Noble Center. Second time we have been tied in this contest. And the Gators turn it over. Trying to get it into Yitch, but thrown away by Reynolds. And Verhulst gives the Sooners the lead. What a look. Chavez orchestrating. Timeout, Florida. Crowd is energized inside the Lloyd Noble Center. Their Sooners had rallied from 13 back, and they have a 2-point lead midway through the fourth.
Well, Chad, Oklahoma, the biggest reason offensively they have played much better this second half. Chavez playmaking. That's their 6th dime here in the second half. That gives Oklahoma a much-needed lead. You know, Williams had that little 4-point burst earlier in the first half. Zaya Van, she has 10 second half points. She had that burst, a 3, a couple lay-ins. Verhulst has gotten involved. So it's been balanced scoring, and that's why, look, the ball has moved better. More players are touching it, and they've been able to find opportunities later in a possession to get a higher percentage shot.
Shot clock at 10 as McGill goes to work. Beers picks her up on the switch here. Gators got to get one away. DeZecco does. And McGill steps in to claim the rebound. Quickest player on the floor, rebounds and scores.
Boy, you hate that if you're Jenny Baranczyk in Oklahoma. A great defensive effort, but you give up the offensive rebound. And there's McGill stepping up and making a play once again.
We'll call that foul against Layla Reynolds. That's number 4 on Reynolds. And it's team foul number 4 against the Gators. Let me make sure that's foul number 4, but I believe that's right on Reynolds. We'll see if the Gators realize that. Verhulst, in the meantime, out of bounds play, scores. And Peyton Verhulst has a dozen now with 7 rebounds.
Yeah, great recognition right there by Verhulst. Beers had her defender on her hip. And that provided that wide open lane uncontested to the rim.
2-point lead for Oklahoma. McGill just probing until she finds enough space, but that was a tough shot trying to get it over Beers. Zaya Van, uncontested, knocks down the 3. That's her 4th made triple tonight. Oklahoma's largest lead has been 6. 5-point margin currently. And an air ball from O'Neal. Zaya Van having a night. 7 of 10 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3-point land. Approaching a career high. Beers trying to post hard inside. Can't get it to her. A Verhulst three. Rims out. Saved, but right to Zaya Van. Chavez tripped there by McGill. And that is 5 fouls against the Gators. They put the top free throw shooter in the SEC on the line as Aaliyah Chavez will head to the stripe.
Really continue to be impressed with Chavez the second half. Well, even on that possession right there, patience, looking inside to Beers, recognition that there was weak side help there. Passed it, went on to the next play. Really playing with a lot of poise and maturity out there. But you know, at any time, if you need it late in the clock, she can go get you a shot. She can get you something. But I like her patience here the second half, letting the offense work and see what you can get first.
Gotta remember, sometimes she's an 18-year-old freshman. And she's playing beyond her years and learning by the possession. Largest Oklahoma lead now, 7 points with 3:20 to go.
Need something right here if you're Florida.
DeZico gives them something. Huge three. That's her first made three of the night.
Was shot that with confidence and rhythm.
Nothing there for Zaya Van, so they'll reset it here with Chavez. Under 10 on the shot clock. Chavez probes. Verhulst rescues it with 2.
Well, not exactly how you draw it, but because Chavez drives it, Chad, rotation comes over. So that frees up Verhulst on the help. Verhulst, great job of being aware of what the shot club was at that time.
Verhulst bats that one away, but right back to McGill, who pulls up. And Peyton Verhulst is having herself a night now. She's hit the boards, making shots.
And if you're Oklahoma, Chad, right here, do not be in a hurry. Just take care of it. Use that clock against Florida and just get something late here in the shot clock.
Verhulst posting and fouled from behind by O'Neal. Only the second on O'Neal, but again, the Sooners back to the charity stripe with a good foul shooter in Verhulst, who's 80%.
Yeah, and Oklahoma's done a nice job of moving Verhulst in different spots. We've seen her in high-low situations post hard. Again, 6'1", good size, experience in there. And even when she hadn't got the ball in that situation, Chad, it's provided other opportunities.
Such a versatile player is Peyton Verhulst. Just kind of whatever you need. And the other thing is she's always in the right place defensively.
Yeah.
That'll keep you on the floor.
Well, and that's why she plays 34 minutes a game.
8-point Oklahoma advantage, 16 points, 9 boards, and 3 assists for Verhulst. Over the top,
nice.
Reynolds with a big bucket. Zaya Van beats the pressure. The Sooners want to run a little bit of clock wisely. 6-point lead and 1:15 to play.
Yeah, still enough time if you're Florida. Just get you a stop right here. Keep everything in front, get you a one and done.
Seven on the shot clock. Chavez into McGill, draws a pair of free throws. Veteran play.
Yeah, McGill right there. I mean, you have to have defensive awareness of the shot clock. Back off right here. Chavez, with a couple of seconds left on the shot clock, is going to have to make a tough one. I mean, she's capable, but you bail her out right there. And if you're Oklahoma, you can't draw it up any better on that possession offensively.
Chavez hits another one. Oklahoma is 5 of 8 from the 3-point line in this second half. And that has helped them turn the tables turnovers more limited both ways. And the Oklahoma lead is a 3-possession lead with under a minute to go. McGill's had a great night, 29 points, needs offense from elsewhere, and O'Neal provides it on this trip with her second made 3. Gators hanging in with the 3 ball, but a foul on McGill is going to send Chavez back to the line, and that's number 4 on Liv McGill.
Well, here's O'Neal again. Well, she just continues to shoot it great. That gives Florida a little bit of a chance. But Oklahoma turns around right there, Chad. I mean, it's simple. You got to take care of the ball, get it across the half court. That forces Florida with time and score to have to foul right there. Oklahoma's ability to handle it, take care of it so much better in the second half has been huge.
I just found out there's going to be a foul shooting competition between you and Aaliyah Chavez after the game, partner. Are you up for that?
Now, do I have to change into the floor or do any running?
There will not be any.
I got a shot, maybe.
I'm going with Chavez. She's 10 for 10 tonight. 7-point Oklahoma lead. They once trailed by 13, and Reynolds can't handle that over the top. And that's kind of been the unfortunate storyline for the Gators. It's been better in the second half. Only 6 turnovers in the second half, but 23 on the night. And at some point, Oklahoma's offense got going. Chavez with 16 points, Verhulst 16, Zaya Van's got 18. Shot clock is off. And Florida is going to not foul, it doesn't appear. And Oklahoma will snap their 2-game skid against top 5 foes and win their 19th straight home game against non-conference opponents. But it was a tough one against the Gators, who were game and led by 13 before Jenny Baranczyk's offense found its rhythm and pulled out a win, Brendan.
Well, this is a really good win for Oklahoma, protecting the home court today. You know, Florida is a team that continues to get better and better and put themselves in a position to win on the road against one of the best teams in the country. But Oklahoma, the second half, just decision-making, curtailing turnovers, the ball movement, just a much more complete game as a team at both ends of the floor. And I know Jenny Baranczyk would tell you, would feel fortunate to play and beat a Florida team that has that gave them everything they wanted.
Yeah, 13 turnovers for Oklahoma in the first half, 4 turnovers in half number 2. Zaya Van puts up big offensive numbers, and I think what kind of got Oklahoma going offensively was the playmaking, as you alluded to, of Aaliyah Chavez. The shot wasn't necessarily falling, and it was that first assist that she had. She winds up with 7 assists, all of them in the second half.
Yeah, and understanding your value is just not putting points